Hello. Cool. Okay, so as I said before, today we will be looking at filling this counter. So I'm going to model everything for here, for the shelves and the scanners and things like that, all those kind of things for this. And yeah, I'm just going to have a little walk around and wait for the viewers to build a little bit, maybe. Need to put my computer on charge as well. There we go, that's better, smoother. I'm wondering why it was lagging a bit. That's the sad thing about having a laptop. Anyway, so yeah, I've got a till and a card machine, a scanner, and some shelves for the front here to do. Things on the shelf. For the ceiling, I'll probably model a camera and maybe some simple smoke alarms and things like that. And then after that, we'll be texturing everything. So I'll go through all these main big models next and unwrap and texture these. And then we'll bake lighting again and add some decals and fill the shelves, because I don't see the point in adding things like cereal boxes and canned food and things like that, because they're so simple in geometry that they'd be pointless to make right now, and they wouldn't look very good without texture. Similar with the signs, really. They could have been done later, but I wanted to just test the hooks and things and make sure the placement was correct. But for things on the shelves, they'll be easy to place. So yeah, I'll just wander around a little bit. While I wait for people to join. And if you're watching, just let me know if my audio is not too loud, or I mean not, too quiet or too loud. This microphone's annoying me. Keeps turning the light on by itself, and it keeps automatically turning the audio off for some reason. It wasn't doing that before. But anyway, I think this is starting to come together now, this scene. Once all the big models are done, everything's unwrapped and textured, and the lighting's been rebaked, I'll probably update the screenshots and probably all the thumbnails on YouTube as well. It's looking very nice though. Probably can't tell so much on the video because the bitrate's quite low. I think I need an Ethernet cable to improve the quality of the streams. Anyway, so probably not going to be doing much in Unity today again. It's all going to be in Blender. So yeah, and I'm probably not going to be able to model all of this today. But because even though they are small things, they're quite intricate in shape. And also, I don't have images from every angle. But yeah. So what can we start with? Like, I could make, because I already have this from the shelves, because I made these shelves, and I made this, so I could probably steal that and reuse that for this. That'll be on both sides, obviously, and then make something that hooks into that, and then I guess these just clip over the, like slide over the top. They should be very easy to make, and I've already got this and this, so to add this should be pretty easy. This should be easy to add. It's the same thing, look, I can reuse that. It's got these. It's pretty much the same shelving as what I have over here, kind of, but it's just angled. And I think these things can be angled. You probably can't tell on the image, but it does actually have little notches for different angles. So I could probably reuse a lot of stuff to do this part. And as for the shelves on the other side, from the cashier side, this just needs filling with content. So that'll be nice and easy. So I think today I will start with these things, because they're pretty easy. I should be able to do that pretty quickly. And then this is probably going to take a bit of time, although that is fairly simple actually, because it's one big hole and then all the buttons are just on top, so that could be easier. But it's still got some interesting shapes. And I can't remember why I have two cash registers. This is more modern with a digital screen. They're almost the same, really. This is just simpler in design. So I probably will go for this one. It's got a bit more character to it, but at the same time more complicated to model. Not like that it's too difficult to model, but it just takes more time. And this I do like. I like this stand. I like the style. I like the curviness and everything. Compared to this is very simple. So I'll probably model this. But it looks... I'll probably do that on a separate stream, and I'll probably do that on a separate stream, so... Anyway, we'll just start with this for now. I'll reuse what I have and just adjust it so we have this stuff for now. So, oh yeah, yeah, something like that. And I've already gone ahead and opened this. So we already have the scale reference. As long as it fits on here, then it's good. So yeah, this is the cashier side. And this is the customer side, so this is where we'll be adding this stuff. And I left these as a reference, these spaces, because I wasn't sure at the time how much of this I wanted to show, because I could have them going across really long like this all the way through, or I could have it like this. But obviously I don't have that middle part, but I can always put a vertical piece anywhere I want and separate it however I want. But I can't remember what my idea was. I think the plan was to add these shelves on these longer sections, and in these smaller sections I think I was going to add this stuff. So anyway, let's have a look. Where is minimize, minimart, models, trying to find the shelves. Maybe this one. Yeah. So I have in here these, and I have this. So I'm thinking about just modifying that, because it's already got the hooks that slot into these, so I can reuse that. So it's called display shelf. So I'm going to append them into this. Make sure my collection is set correctly, and look for it. There we go. I didn't see the names of them. So this one is called connector. Small display shelf. So what am I doing? Okay. Connector. Append that. And that. Cool. I think I had these with an array modifier. No, I must have applied it. Never mind. Anyway, let's close all this off. So we have what we need. Bring back parefs. Right. So this should be easy. We just need to position it. And we could probably... Oh my god. I don't know why it does that. Sometimes it locks up. We can slim this down a bit in this direction. But it's as simple as just positioning it however we want. So I'll vertex snap. Let's find a nice spot for it. And probably scale it on the Y, I guess, to be about probably half. I'm just gonna eyeball it. There we go. And then we can pretty much just delete most of this. So what the? I literally just pressed B and it did that. So what's interesting as well is, looks like it's being chopped. And it even has some holes, so probably for screws. But anyway, we can deal with that later. So I'm just gonna center this a bit. Yeah. And then I can delete what I don't need. I will need that. So if I delete this, That's good. So it's as simple as that. I just need to duplicate it around, snap it to these points, I suppose. And this depends on if I want these to be long shelves or not. So I need to know right now. Actually, I can just put this probably in the center of these, in fact. So I could snap this to the edge center of this, to be honest. Active, use its origin. Yeah, we could do this if it lets me. Yeah. Just get it close. And then I'll snap it. It's really weird and it's really finicky. Because this has somewhere to hook on both sides. So it'll work for this as well. Because I can hook this on one side. And on the other side I can hook the other thing. So one more. Okay, I don't want that. I don't want active either, I just want closest. Something like this. And I can either keep these as separate objects, or I can make them a part of, the counter and just submesh them and then reuse the material. Because you'll see them from this side, but you won't see them from this side. But if it's a part of this, it won't be rendered because it's being culled, but I think the geometry will still be pushed up. But for now, I'm just going to join it all to this. And before I join it, I'm just going to make sure that's all selected and make sure all this is not selected. So when I do join them, I've already got them selected. I can look at my materials. I've already got 2 materials, it's already submeshed this. But I want to add another one and assign it. Oh, hello. I think we're crashing. Nice. It's always good to lose progress. I should have saved. Okay, we didn't crash. Save. Metal. Assign. So, yeah. That's for this. That's for that. Cool. Yeah. But I think I'll keep the shelf separate. So this will be its own object. Just gonna get it into position for now. and there is some difference, I think, with these. Maybe. It's hard to tell from here. So I could probably get away with just reusing the same shelves, but obviously they are angled and they've got this glass thing here. That's the main difference. And I assume that is wedged into this thing here. So the first thing I'm going to do anyway is just going to position this. So it's nicely placed in one of these. And it doesn't have to be exact, because nothing's perfect in reality anyway. As long as it looks believable. Art is nothing but an illusion. So, yes. Let's just position this. See what dimensions we're at. Almost 1.5. 1.45. Lovely. Now obviously it's too big. And what we need to do is, there's two things I could do. I could either shear it, which will keep these in position hopefully. Maybe not actually, because it depends where it's shearing from. Or I could just rotate it from the rest of the mesh from this position, from this point, around the x-axis. I think this pivot is already there actually. And let's see what happens if I put this in local. I try to grab this. Yeah. So we can use this to make it shorter while it's in position. So I'm just going to grab all this and just grab on the Y. Maybe 0.05. It looks like it could rotate a little bit more. There, so it's 30 degrees. It looks a bit steep actually. think I'll just leave it as it was, 25 degrees. So we're almost there anyway. Now all we need to do is create a gap. What I might do is I might extend this out a little bit more so it comes past this, and then I might curve this around. I think it'll be easier if I zoom into here. And I'm just going to isolate this for now. So I'm thinking to just have this curl around and back on itself. A simple solution might be to just duplicate that. I don't know, like maybe I need to do this in global. And what I'll do, actually, I'll snap to the active, because I'm going to use this as a spacer as well for the glass. So let's just say that's the glass. And so we want basically to connect these two around that. So if I go back to local, let's find something. No, I'm gonna have to move it by the normals like this. So I'll move it by the normals. There might be a better way of doing this. I know the bridge tool and things will probably work. Actually, let's try the bridge tool first. Delete those faces, select these edges, Control E, where's bridge edge loops, F9, freeze the cuts. I can't remember how you deal with this twisting. I don't use this tool very often. No, not linear. Blend surface, there we go. That's way better. So something like this, but we will reduce the cuts because that's too much. Maybe something like this. Cool. Right. Is this bevel using angles? Yeah. So I need to change this. That's another annoying thing with a blender as well. When you press Ctrl Z, it collapses this as well. I only want to see like the number change. Anyway, so with this glass as well, I think I will first of all just snap this again, go back to global, not like it matters, but just snap that there so it's nice and straight, and then fill that in. And I'll probably do the same with this. Just make sure I've grabbed it. And with this now, just extrude it. The Z, I don't know how far, maybe that much, scale Z0, fill it. We can adjust this as much as we want. Might want to make it taller. Didn't mean to press extrude, I just want to grab it. Another 0.5 maybe. And yeah, on the other edge. I don't know, I'll just put the cursor there instead. And then just shear this now maybe. It's sticking out a little bit. I can either shear it or I can rotate it, but when you rotate it, it usually makes things skinnier like this, which I don't like. So when you shear it, you kind of get better results because it maintains this volume here. But the downside is this is also skewed now. What I can do, maybe, I don't know. Anyway, what materials does this have as well? None. Interesting. Okay, well, yeah, I need a new material. Painted metal, which that will be assigned to everything. And then I'm going to separate this because it's going to have transparency. I'll just put its origin to geometry for now, and I'll make it a child of this. Remove that and just add glass, which this, yep, that's that. Cool, so we have we have a shelf, nice and simple. I still need to fix this stuff. Like, I need to probably rotate from here. Put the cursor here. Set the cursor. And I need to grab everything on both sides. But not that probably, actually. What is that? Oh, it's the back of it. I don't know, let's just see what happens when I rotate that. Yeah, man. So, I don't want to rotate too much. But then again, this looks kind of better. And I did rotate that as well with it. So I can probably just hopefully deselect this. Try again. Maybe it was okay. "25 degrees, that makes sense. That's how much I rotated it before." So I can rotate these as well. "25 degrees. And I'm not liking this, so I can just get some volume back by sliding them. But I want to do it to both, so hopefully it'll work on both sides. Yep. Minus 0.05. There we go. That's got some nice volume again. Cool. Just keep turning my mic on and off just to make sure it doesn't go off while I'm talking. Anyway, so I wanted to pull this a little bit further out as well. But then again, probably don't have to, because the whole point of this again is just so you could easily slide this out. And you have to think about functionality when you're making stuff like this as well. So I think this is probably good as it is. The only thing you'd want to do is center it for when you export it. And also I need to rename this. It is still a display shelf, but it's been a bit modified, so let's just say counter display shelf. And there's no need for a small because there's only one size. Counter display shelf. Come on. we want to make sure this is correct as well. Counter display shelf glass. But what I wanted to do is just clear the palette parent but keep the transform and then put it back. Otherwise it'll go all weird. But yeah, now we've got this. We don't need the spaces anymore because we've already used it to put these here, so I can delete that, which is great. And this says counter 2. I didn't rename. Not like it matters. The mesh in Blender doesn't really matter anyway. This is just for Blender. Unity takes the object name, so we don't really care too much, but I like to keep it organized just in case. In this particular blend file it doesn't matter because there's not much here, but in big blend files you want to keep that stuff organized. Anyway, so now I'm just going to position these shelves how I want them, and then we can get to work on just making this bar and these things, which should take too long. And then we can pretty much override this. In fact, I could already override this in Unity now because I've already modified this. I can take that into Unity, but obviously I might as well finish this and import all of it. I will still import them separately, but I could put it all together in Unity all at once. So we probably will be in Unity actually, because I'll use the same trick as before with the empties. I think it works pretty well because you can import a bunch of empties, position it where you want it to be, position the root empty to this object, then all the other empties can be children of that empty, and they'll take the positions of where these are going to be, these shelves. It's just a temporary thing. You can delete it out of Unity like once everything's in place. So yeah, I'm just going to position these shelves. I might as well do it by eye. I find it's easier in here, but I could actually position these in Unity, to be fair, by eye as well. But I do find it easier in here. Blender's better because you can hold shift and you have very small changes if you want. Yeah. But yeah, you know what, I am actually going to just do it in Unity. I'll move on now and I'll just start modeling this instead. And I will steal these hooks to begin with. So I'm going to duplicate that, separate it, find it, pull it forward for now, and just delete this. And this is what we want. We want this bar, and we want to connect this to that bar. So I'm going to select all of this. I need to straighten it, but I don't want to. To be fair, yeah, I can just scale to the active like this, and then I'll probably just vertex snap this up here, and then sure auto merge is off. Slide that all the way up and bring it back 0.5. I should be exactly halfway. Not like it matters, but then I'll add a mirror modifier. Then I just get this distance perfectly. I'll have merging and clipping. And now I can literally just model this bar. So I can just extrude this. That's just the bevel modifier that's making it all look weird. It's alright as soon as we move it away far enough. 0.01 minus, and I can select all of this, extrude that there. Extrude all of this. Just take it all the way to there. Extrude all this, nice and simple. Whatever the thickness is of this, I have no idea. 0.05 minus. And we can probably just bridge edge loops. I think it's just default. I mean, doesn't matter really, does it? It's done the job, so. We've got this now. We can adjust it however we choose. So I think it's a bit thick. There, I guess it didn't work very well. That's alright. I can just auto merge. And luckily everything's all lined up with the world, so I can just move them like this. There we go. Right. So 0.025 might be better. It doesn't look that thick for some reason. And in there we can see a nice curve, so we'll do that. Give it a few like this. 0.005 again. And for good topology, we'll just join that down there. We can put an edge loop here and here. Join them. Perfect. And now I can just create these things to hook around it. So I suppose that's why this needs to be pretty thin, because that has to wrap around it. So I might make it even thinner, but I don't know how much. 0.005 again. Maybe even less than that. 0.01. Yeah, that looks more reasonable to me. And the position is still on the hooks, just like the other stuff. So I'm just going to change the length of it over here. Just temporarily position and change the length. You'll find that with 3D modeling it's pretty much the same thing over and over again. Just the same process repeated. But there is often still a little bit of problem solving. It just depends on how. It's not even about the size of the object, it's more about the complexity of the object that you're modeling, really. That's what determines how difficult it will be to create. The orange outline was confusing me a bit. I'm trying to find a nice spot for them both. Right, so anyway, now I suppose all I have to do is I'd have to move the origin one and yeah. But what I'll do instead, because it's easier, I'll just apply the mirror and get rid of this edge loop in the middle, and I'll just position this like this. Just have a little look from the inside. Looks about right. Again, let's see here. Get rid of these extra numbers. You can't even really see the difference. Look, maybe if I got rid of that, you might be able to. No? Not even noticeable. Apply the scale. Now I need to just recenter this origin point again. I hope everyone can hear me clearly. I have a bad habit of mumbling and speaking quiet as I get more and more focused, so I'm trying my best not to do that. And also, the microphone keeps turning itself off for some reason. Anyway, that's that. It still looks kind of thick. It might be as well the fact that this is so long compared to this now. But maybe it'll work. It looks kind of tall as well, actually. Maybe I could make it skinnier and so on. It would be just a matter of grabbing all these top things, these top vertices, without touching these. I could drop that. I could probably put it to there, actually. I might do that. Auto merge. Vertex not active. Yep. Might do the same for the bottom. It'll just make it a little bit more compact. looks a little better. But also this is really, really thick. So I might again pull this further in. Just do that, get rid of that. Maybe, yeah, that. And maybe also pull this in. Yeah, that's a bit better, I think. Cool. I have no idea what to call this. Counter hook bar. I normally do Google things when I try to name things as well, but anyway, let's just make this bar real quick now anyway, and then we can put it into Unity. Just save, because I keep forgetting. Even though normally I'm pretty good with saving things. I think it's because I've angled the microphone so much that this wire at the back's bending too much. That's why it's turning itself off. Anyway, let's just make these. So this should be pretty simple. Because I can just make a quad or a cube for this, punch some holes for the circle area, and then just extrude that, have it curve around, and then it just needs to curve up. And then around the back it'll just be some clip, I imagine. They're probably either gonna like slot on like this kind of. Or maybe they're flexible and they're clip on, so you know. Look quite thin as well. Don't remember moving that. So this is painted metal as well, but I think I want this to have metal material. This is glass, this is painted metal, this is metal, and I think, yeah, they are. So yes, looking good so far. I'm going to reset that and isolate it. So I've got counter hook bar, I can just make one counter hook and reuse them wherever. And because I want the scene to look all messed up later, for flexibility's sake, I want to keep things as individual as possible, but for rendering optimization, it's a good idea to merge whatever you can. But there's a balance with it anyway. When we get to the optimization side of it, we'll do that. We'll look into that. We'll look at the frame render and all that. The frame debugger, I mean. But that's probably going to be the end of the project. I might just duplicate this and then separate it, make it smaller so it looks approximately that shape. Get rid of this center. Extrude it out just a little bit. It's very thin, so three millimeters. Vertex snapping. I like the fact that Blender's got better with the edge snapping and face snapping as well. I only just noticed that the other day. Like before it was terrible. But now it's pretty precise. And because this is 3mm, we can just extrude this up again. 0.003. And you see at the top of the screen it says 3mm, which is what we want. We can do the same here. Extrude Z. 0.003 minus. So it's still 3mm. You could do that with a solidify modifier, but for this I didn't see the point. So we can either have this one thing at the top go all the way around and just say it slots on over the top, or we could have it look more like a clip. I don't think it matters either way. Because no one's really going to question it. But I can either do that. It could be just one long piece that you slot over the top. It doesn't even have to be all the way, it could be halfway or whatever. I think I'll do that. Because it's probably going to save on geometry. 5mm, maybe 10mm, 1cm, yeah. That's probably enough. So we can just delete that and face that up again. And in fact, we can actually delete that as well. Let's delete that. And we can face that up. And then I'm just going to edge slide this back. Because it does overhang a little bit. In fact, I'll just dissolve that edge. But I still need this because I'm going to slide this up here and this over here. Like this to save geometry again. Right, cool. Now, right, yeah, I want the question now, do I, because I could just place these by hand as well, I suppose, in Unity as well. So, I'm thinking maybe put the cursor there, put the origin there. Let's see what happens if I put the origin to geometry. Yeah, we'll do that. It's also good to check. Yeah. Get that bar back. Everything's good. And I wanted to do that because I'm going to add a mirror modifier again. Slide that up there, put clipping on. Go through the middle. Yeah. Delete the left side. because I want to add these holes. They're not holes, the bars are going to come out of them, but I need to just do something like this. They're quite small. There. Alright, yeah. 0.01. 1.5, no, 1.2. Yeah. If I do this, do you know what, actually, I'm going to separate that as its own object, get rid of these, and set the origin to geometry, and just make sure that the X and the Z are the same. Y should be 0, shouldn't it? Ah, yeah, that's why. Yeah, add rotation still, of course, which I forgot about. This I don't want to have rotation, and this I don't want to have rotation, so I need to apply the rotation for these two. Yep. Even the location is a bit off there. Yeah, that's because I moved the origin point. That's fine. But I just did that so I can make sure that this is perfectly square. So scale Z 0, grab Z like that. Scale Z 0, grab Z. Scale X 0, grab X. Just make sure, because I didn't know if it was snapping to the right thing or not. And that's that. So now I know that's perfectly square. So now I can just extrude this out as far as I need to, whatever looks right. So 0.1, that's 10 centimeters. I have no idea how long these things are. But it looks fairly long anyway. And then, as before, we just need to do the bridge and edge loop thing, and then we can curve it. But I've done this. We have some, like when I shared this move, and it has good topology and everything. It will look good. It'll have a nice rounded, smooth thing. But we'll get to that when I start doing the little high poly, low poly, unwrapping, texturing, baking process. I'll go through everything and make sure everything's good. Now to actually bridge these together, I'm going to have to apply that modifier anyway. Let's apply that and look from here and Control E, bridge edge loops, F9, blend surface, number of cuts. Let's just see what looks good. Probably 5. cool. Now we just need to get it to curve up. And I'm not sure if there is a tool that does that, but again, I think the shear tool is probably going to be the best option as usual. So I'll put my cursor here, switch to cursor. And I'm just going to shear this vertically a little bit at a time. So just keep moving the cursor, and probably not the best way, but hopefully it gets the job done. I'm only doing like 0.1 each, I think. Was it 0.1 I did? I can't actually remember. Was it 0.1 that I moved it? Do that again. Y-axis. Yeah, it was 0.1. It's probably because the geometry is curved more, so it looks like it's not doing as much. But let's just stick with the 0.1 and see how it goes. Something like this. I might push it a little bit more. It probably bends more here anyway, actually, than the tip. It's more in this area, so I can probably push it a bit more around here. So and then I can probably just do another bevel to smoothen that out. .005. Not far. Looks good. And yes, they are square, which we don't want. So for this particular case, I'm not going to use angle, I'm going to use weight, because I don't want this to be affected by it. I'm going to put that back there and do this, and this could also be cleaned up now as well, actually. But first, or maybe not first, actually. Let's do this. Actually, I am going to first make sure that this is rounded. And I probably should have done this before I started extruding, because I'm used to having a subsurface modifier on, or subdivision modifier on, but I didn't put it on, so I'm just going to use the to sphere and press 1 while I've got medium point on, and because these are already flat, so it'll stay flat. I should be able to do the same with all these. I'm just worried about the angle causing a problem, but hopefully it won't. We'll see. And I should done this before I applied the mirror modifier as well. So you can save yourself a lot of time if you do everything in the right order. But I'm a little bit distracted because I'm streaming, so. But now we have that anyway. So now this looks fine. I was going to get rid of this center point, like this center line, but this is actually pretty good. And like you say, I'm going to probably get this edge loop and then select bounding loops, edge bevel weight, set that to 1, and then I can just select these, don't need that or that, edge bevel weight, edge bevel weight, of course these ends ones here, these, set them, and these, cool. So that should be all set. Maybe I could even do it with this. Yeah, cool. So we have that again. If I wanted to smoothen all this out as well, I could probably add bevels again. And if you clamp it, you could get that looking nice. But I'm trying to avoid having too much geometry. I mean, I could do that and just lower the count of cuts, I suppose. But we don't want triangles. I'm just going to leave it for now, because I can always add that later anyway. So, material set, I already did that. What's this? Don't need this. Open either. Counter hook bar, just call it counter hook. And I suppose that's that as well. Like I said, I've been keeping everything hard shaded, but it is very efficient compared to that to have it shaded smooth. Because when it's shaded flat, it's actually duplicate geometry in a sense. It's like they're not sharing vertex normals when you have it shaded flat. So it increases your geometry count quite a lot, and you can actually see that inside of Unity. You can't see it in Blender because Blender just counts what you can visually see. Like this will count as one quad. But I suppose the triangle count might be accurate, because a quad is just 2 triangles. So, but anyway, Unity is more precise about the actual mesh data. But anyway, we have this now, so the key thing now, I've made that a child of that. I can export them at the same time. I probably could export these at the same time as well, because it's getting used for that specifically, so I'll do that. But I'm just going to hide this as well, hide PRFs, minimize that, and So I'm just going to override the files I already have. Minimart. Yeah, the minimart scene. Assets. I believe. Furniture. Yeah, counter. Unity static mesh. These are presets I've made before. So if you're interested, I've just got meshes and empties, selected objects only, scale 1, FBX all, negative Z forward, Y is up, apply all this stuff. I actually went through all these settings before to see what they all did, so these are pretty good settings. Geometry, I've just got normals, apply modifiers, so that'll apply the bevel modifier on them all. Because it's static meshes, I haven't touched any of this armature stuff. Animations have been disabled. So then, that's that. That should override in Unity now. I want to select this and this at the same time and export them both together. So export. Before I do that, usually if I've never exported it before as well, I just press Ctrl C over here because I'm lazy, and then I can just press Ctrl V over here and then press export. Nice and quick and easy. Hide that so I can see this. Do the same here. Ctrl C, export, FBX, Ctrl V, export, unhide that, press the home button, save, and I'm just going to minimize it for now because if it's not right I might have to come back in and fix things. I'm also going to delete that because I don't need it no more. Make sure that's set. Alright, now minimize. Let's have a look. Did I close Unity off? Okay. I closed Unity off. I don't know why as well, but my icons keep going really small when I'm streaming. Down here. They're not normally that small. I don't know why that's happening. How long's this stream been going so far? Anyway, let's load this up. And then we can put all this stuff together. Nice and easy today. I don't have a clue how long I've been streaming for. In fact, while Unity is loading, I'll have a check. Let's have a look, see what is going on. Check OBS. Okay. An hour and a half so far. So yeah. By the time I've put all this in Unity, it's probably going to be time to end the stream anyway. I don't like to stream too long. I think 2 hours is pretty long anyway. I don't think people are going to watch that long. I think even an hour is pretty long. I wish I could keep it to that, but I don't know how long things are going to take, and I don't want to finish halfway through. So anyway, we're in Unity. So we look at the counter. Let's have a look. Yeah. It's gone all messed up because the light maps. That's the light maps that because the mesh has changed and the UVs have changed, so the light maps have gone all crazy, but we'll fix that later. For now though, I'm just going to add the new things. So into furniture, counter hook bar, presets, just FBX importer with materials. Let's see what happens. Alright, I might need to use the materials one. Has this already? Yeah, it's already assigned metal materials for me as Unity. That's pretty cool. It's detected the name and just applied metal on it. Interesting. I need to have a look at the counter, see. Yeah, that's why. I already set this up before. That's why it's working like that. That's cool. So where were I? The hook bar. I just added that. That's got the metal in it. So if I pull this out, should have a metal material assigned to it. Although I don't know if that's what I want. And this is set to local, so felt like I was gonna sneeze. So this is Y is forward, or Z is forward, sorry. So this is correct. So I just need to rotate this around the Y. And probably make it a child of the counter, if it lets me. Yes. And I'll have to override it, but I'll do that when I'm finished. Let's just... I can duplicate these as well, maybe. If it might not let me. Okay, it did. Cool, so I can space them out however I want as well. But I won't do that just yet. I'm going to position it first. So there we go. I can put these however I like. So I'll do one of them properly and then just duplicate them and move them down vertically afterwards. Makes sense. See, it's a lot easier in Blender because you can just press G to grab it or something, but in Unity you have to use these gizmos. Yeah. Anyway, it looks... I just want to make sure that it's, you know, pretty close to what I want before I start duplicating stuff. Let's see what that's like. I'm gonna go with that. This is bang on center. So when I duplicate this, I just want to, I think it has a snapping thing, does it, in here? It is, but it's set to 1 meter. I forgot about that. Like here, you can change the snapping amount. So if I put that to 0.1, I'll control. The thing is, it has rounded it up to 0.1 rather than offsetting it by 0.1. So I will just the good thing about it in here, you can just say this whatever number minus 0.1. Well, you can in Blender anyway. Apparently you can't do that in Unity either. Nice. Oh god. Do you know what? I'll just use the grid thing. It's easier. Where's my reference? Yeah, they're quite far apart actually. And still look vertically thinner as well, but I can adjust that later, I suppose. Although it would be better to do it now, I guess. Yeah. I'll just delete. I keep forgetting the X does not delete. It just switches this thing up here, the pivot. Delete to delete. I'll just change this number to 0.2 instead, I guess. Duplicate this. Move it. There we go. Cool. You can also turn this into a prefab. But I don't know if it's necessary because I only have one counter, so it seems pointless. So I'm just going to duplicate these. I'll make it exactly how I want it. There needs to be enough room because there's going to be stuff hanging off these. So there needs to be enough room. So we've got 1, 2, 3. So we can put it every 3, maybe. Let's just get the vertical height correct. And that's it. And we can move on. 503. Duplicate it again. Let's close that off. Cool. Seems to work well with 3s. Anyway, I don't like how Unity adds that extra number. I know they're clones, but I don't like that. And I suppose this is 3, so this is probably fine actually. I was going to lower it, but if because nothing's going above it, so if I heightened it to here, that would maybe make more sense. Trouble is I can't just type on the y-axis now without selecting them separately like this. But at least I only have to round it to the next 3. Basically just take that 5 off at the end. That's good. While I'm here as well, I just don't like these names. Anyway, looks a bit strange because it's extra room now. But maybe they're not always perfectly, because some items might be shorter than others. So maybe I can just pull this up. So there's only a 2 gap there. And I can round this up to a 3. Because I know 3's, ending on 3 seems to work well. And then this one, I can make sure that there's a 3 gap. And then maybe I can put another one after a 2 gap. They're never perfect. Anyway. So we'll just do this. Backache. Maybe I'll put this to be a 2 gap as well. I don't know. I just didn't like the wasted space at the bottom. But now I've got an extra one, so it might actually, yeah. When the shelves are in and everything as well, this will look pretty dense. Cool. So I'm going to do that, and we can duplicate these and shift it over here, and then we just have to adjust it horizontally on the x-axis. There's a bit more play from this side, going side to side. It just has to be within these hooks. It's in there. And it's in there. That looks good. -1 exactly. Interesting. What's this one? -7.5. Cool. So I don't like how when you duplicate stuff as well, this happens. Even though it doesn't actually matter, but it just annoys me. I like to keep everything clean and organized. Right, what else? I need these shelves. Where are these? Got the hook bar and the hook. I need some counter display shelf. That's the one. Going to lock the inspector so I can look for some materials and find painted metal and glass and apply, and then I can unlock that. And let's just see what this is like now. It's kept that rotation, didn't apply. But anyway, rotate that 90 degrees. You can see that it's applied the glass and this painted metal, which again are just temporary, and I don't want to be moving it locally like this. I'll move it globally, because that's just going to be a pain. But yeah, I just need to line these up now, so it's the same process really. So I'm just going to put that under there and just match this up. Right, what's going on here? You see, these do hook in, but they do come over quite a bit, so I've got to adjust these now so they're sort of in between. Don't want them doing that. Look. So I'm gonna have to put them like this, unless, like I say, I edit this object and I just chop a bit off, just so it, at least, like I could snap this to here, to the center, then it's not in the way. But anyway, for now, I will just line this up. It's always a little bit more difficult with the bigger objects. But maybe this will be the same if I put this to 03. Yeah, kind of. Maybe, actually, it probably is fine. I just need to pull it back a bit. Yeah. Let's just make sure it's correct on this side. It's pulling over a little bit on the Z. See, it's so much more difficult because you can't even see the gizmo, it's too far away. And you can't move it. I can't even actually move it enough. Like it's It's too small of a move for it. But I will just try adding extra numbers. Oh wait. I need to figure out which direction I'm moving in. Yeah. It should be the X, shouldn't it? Yeah. I need to go in the negative X. Or I need to go... Yeah. 8. Maybe actually. Let's see what it's like. If not 8, I can maybe just put 8, 5. Yeah. I think that'll be good. The reason why this is so bright as well is, again, the light maps. I need to decide if it's going to be a light map or a light probe. But anyway, let's just duplicate this. And the cool thing now is wherever I put it, I just hopefully add a 3 and it'll be right. No. No. If only it were that simple. That looks kind of, yeah. Swap these around. Edit this name. Copy. I'll duplicate. Pull it down. It's starting to look filled in already. Oops, wrong one. No, it's already correct. What am I doing? Right, so now we should be able to just duplicate all these. Over like that and that. Let's get them roughly the right place. And then I can fine tune, I believe it was the x-axis, so if I put this up to 2, or maybe 1.5, maybe that'll work. Whoa, that's way off. Wait a minute. That fits there to there. That is in there. But maybe I can still adjust that and use these holes instead. See, it's so annoying with the gizmo. Let's try that. See, that's set in there nicely. See if it's the same on this side. Try 4. No, I don't think, probably not going to fit. Because that is going to be all the way to 2. That's interesting. I guess I didn't line this up. This section, this middle section must not be the same. I'm sure it'll fit on this side. Or not. They're not even the same. Ah, yeah, they're not. I remember now. Damn. So I'm going to have to build them separately. Okay, so I can change this to large, medium and small then. I totally forgot. Like, I actually do have on my dimensions that these are different. No worries. So if you look in the pure refs, even these are like different in lengths, but where I had different dimensions, I'm sure, somewhere. Anyway, I don't think we'll need this again for today, so get rid of that. Do I still have Blender open? I do. That's great. So I'm gonna change this to be large. And I need to duplicate this. Even this actually has to be large or long, which is kind of annoying actually. But yeah, I remember now I actually made these different lengths to make it look a bit more organic. Anyway, all we have to do is duplicate these, isolate them, and then we call this one medium. See, the stream's going to be longer than I expected already now. Not like it's a big problem, but that's what I'm saying. You always run into silly things like this. So, right. So I've got medium selected. Yep. I'm just gonna position it in the center. So much easier to position stuff in Blender. That shift, just holding shift, it just helps a lot. And even you can just select vertices and zoom into them and get a better. Look how close you can get if you like. Change the camera near and far planes as well. You can see much closer. But yeah, I want to just sort of get this about halfway, roughly, and get it a little bit closer here and just down here. And then I can go to the other side and select both of these, go in edit mode, select all that, and just slide this over like that. Just again roughly center like this. Cool. Now the origins will be a bit off. Like this, though, it's gonna be simple for this one. because it's just those vertices. Just put the origin there, or the cursor even, then set the origin to the cursor. And then with the glass, I'm not even sure how this is lined up actually. Just seems to be there. Maybe I just set it to geometry. I don't know. But anyway, the key thing is that these are relatively the same location. So I press Alt G on here. Before I do that, I'll just hide this stuff. And then I'll press Alt G. I want to unparent this, but keep the transform, and then reparent it. There we go. Alt H. And then is this the large one? Yeah. This is the large one. This is the medium one. That's the dimensions. X 1.12, 1.126. 1.15, 1.13. It's strange, I don't think this is centered, the large one, to be honest, which is quite annoying, because if I adjust that now, I'm gonna have to reposition everything in Unity. Yeah, it's not even centered. See, silly little things. Can just create more work for yourself. Set origin to geometry. See, that's fine. Look, that's fine as is. Alt G. There we go. Alt P, keep transform. Control P. Alright, so when I bring back the high poly, we're gonna have a problem. Well, not a big problem, but everything's gonna have to be readjusted. So we'll see how it goes. But we want to get, we'll hide the medium stuff, so we can duplicate this, isolate it, call it the small. There we go. Same for the glass. And then we can just grab that, position it over this area. The same process. center, something like that. Lower down. Yeah. And then as before, just grab all this and just position it by eye. Don't have to be perfect. Right, just gonna zoom to this section first and then I'll grab the rest. Just center that in the middle, something like this. Cool. I could even just round that down to 0.9. Round that down, 0.89. Or even copy and paste that scale so it's, you know, scale, apply the scales. While I'm here, I could apply the rotation as well, because I was talking about that before. Because if I press Alt R, it's going to do this. And these shelves are supposed to be in this orientation, so. But anyway, they're set correctly. And I just need to change this. The origin is easy for this one. Set that to geometry. /3. Shift S. Origin to 3D cursor. There we go. And I can go Alt G. Grab both of them, isolate them. Alt P, keep transform, Control P, object. Right. And like I say, I might apply rotation on these. Medium. That was a big jump. It's fine. I don't need to worry about that. The origins are in the right place. I need to apply the rotation on that and on that and on that and on that. Right, and I think now the origins and everything are all correct. Cool. Okay. So now this is where it could get I think it'll be fine actually. Yeah, because in uni I can just maybe what I'll do is I'll just bring this in as a completely new object. And then I won't lose the positions I've already set. Oops, got to copy. Need to copy this, then export both of these. At least I got that name correct. Alright, then copy this, grab this, export FBX. Right, so I've got small, medium, and large. Press home and save. I mean, I know the face orientation is correct anyway. Right, so now I'm going to replace these because I've got the positions, so I can copy the positions from here and just replace them with the new ones. And then I can delete that FBX and these. So I'll start with the large ones to replace them ones. So we need counter display shelf large. Yep, this one. And we need material, glass material, apply. That says painted blue metal, we don't want painted blue metal. Just get them painted metal, apply. Cool. And now I just want to basically make this a child of this. Copy world transform. Paste world transform. Boom. Want to negate that. It's still a bit off because of the difference. So I'm probably still gonna have to do this by eye anyway. No, I didn't want that. I still want to keep them because this way I only have to find the horizontal for now. Give me more space. I believe that wasn't that 7.5. That's going to be different anyway, isn't it? Because it's moved since. Let's just see what it looks like on the other side. Yeah, I think we can move slightly, but I don't know which direction. 6. Yeah. Cool. So now I just need to copy the world transform of this. In fact, not even the world transform, just the position actually. And then I can duplicate that and paste position. Then I can delete that shelf. Just copy the x-axis from here. Paste it in there. Cool. And the same here. Copy position. Duplicate. Paste position. Delete. And I should still have that. What the? Okay, never mind. I don't know what happened there. I thought I still had this saved, but apparently not. Anyway, that's that. Back to the way it was. And now we can add the other things. So we need medium. So we do this, put the glass in there, put the painted metal in there, apply, and I'll just drag that out for now. Don't know why the scale's like that on the x-axis. Is this which one's this one? Medium. Right, apparently it's not applied, apparently. Apply scale. That'll be the same now. See, I don't like how Blender does that. It hides it from you. You have to click on it to know what the scale actually is, which is silly. But anyway, let's copy that again. Export that again. Override that. Make sure I've got the right preset. That's why I'm keeping this Blender file open. Right, so that now, if I revert, yep, scale is good. Right, small. Same thing. It's found the wrong things for some reason. Pull this out. Everything looks fine. Okay, so which direction? 90. Positive 90. Positive 90. We just need to line these up so they hopefully will fit there. And I probably could steal the positions of these, or at least everything but the x-axis, I guess. So we have large, we want to put medium and small in here. So we will copy this position, paste this position, and just shift it over. Do the same for the small. Paste position, shift it over. So now we only have to worry about the horizontal axes. Cool. Once we've finished positioning this stuff anyway, I think the stream will be over, so it's the same process at this point. It's a lot easier now. Basically, I'll just get this one right, and literally just, I can copy this thing's position, or I can just duplicate actually, and all I need is there's the up axis, which is this, the y axis in Unity, so I can just duplicate that and then copy the y axis and do the same for this. Control C, duplicate, Control V, and then get rid of these horrible additional numbers that I don't like. Cool. I press the period button to focus then. Blender. My Blender brain. Right. So just get this nice. Maybe a little bit more. I just drop this down to a 2. Or even just a 6. No. Put 2 there. Or even a 2.5. Right. Actually, 2 is fine. Okay. We're almost done for today. I'm just gonna basically repeat that last process, and then we'll play it, have a little look around in the scene again, and then we'll be done. I do like how Unity has its hierarchy though, but I think it would be better with folders. I know people have done tools that you can buy for that, but that's the one good thing, or one of the good things in Unreal Engine. Oh, please don't crash. Is that it has the folder structures by default. It's part of the editor. Anyway, I can apply all this now. That'll become a part of that preset. Prefab. Save the scene. Find my character. There we go. Cool. Now we can just give it a little play test. Nothing's obviously changed, but we have this addition now, and the counter now looks terrible because of the light maps need redoing. But it's added so much more depth to the scene already. Just looking in this area, the shelves and those hooks and everything, it's just added so much more detail. And like I say, when I finished with the stuff that's going on top, it'll look even better. Can't even really see the glass actually. You can see a little bit of the reflections. It is quite small. I could make them bigger, I could make them taller. But anyway, this looks so bad now with the light maps. You can see the reflections much more clearly though. When you have a black reflective material, it just stands out more. But yeah, so yep, that's us done for today. Thanks for watching. Next time, like I say, we'll be just adding some extra stuff on the counters. After that, we'll probably put a bit more, like cameras and things, a few more things on the ceiling, maybe like a sensor above the door. And then we'll go through everything that's in here. All these objects will be, we'll go through it all and make sure we'll make the low polys, and we'll unwrap them, and we'll texture them and do all the baking and all that, and then that'll optimize this scene as well on its own. Just the fact that I've not got the flat, I think I've shown you before, but in case if you're new and you haven't seen yet, I've got a bunch of geometry with flat faces, and there's a lot of small geometry that probably could be simplified, which I will get to when I do LODs and stuff. So when I'm over here, you won't see so much detail in those bars, they'll be really simplified. But yeah, that'll be the next step. So once we're done with what's all the stuff that goes on here, and the little bit that goes on the ceiling, and maybe a door sensor, I'll make the low polys, the LOD zeros for now, and unwrap everything and texture everything and bake everything, and then this scene will be optimized and look way better straight away just from that. And then I'll probably still create LODs and set all that up as well. Actually, I might as well while I'm at it. And then I'll rebake everything. I might have to reposition some lights and the light probes, reflection probes and things. But yeah, that's it. So thanks for watching, and I guess I will see you next time.